episode of EliteCISOs podcast. Today we have Mr. Ram, a distinguished cybersecurity expert and leader. Welcome to this show, Mr. Ram.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you for inviting me over. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So I'm quickly going to share my screen and set the context in terms of what we are going to discuss. So let me know when you see my screen, please.
Sure, I can see now.
Great. So the today's topic is career in cybersecurity, and why we have chosen this as a topic because there's a great demand in the industry for cyber security professionals. So if you look at this study released by ISC2, it was released in 2019, and what they are saying is there is a requirement of almost 4 million cybersecurity professionals globally. And out of those 4 million cybersecurity professionals, 64% of jobs are available in Asia Pacific itself. And those jobs we are not able to fill. These are the open jobs which are there in the market. And look at this study which LinkedIn published, and what they are talking about is the 20 most required skills in India. So this is the India specific study, and what they are saying is that cyber security is one of those 20 skills which are there in the emerging requirement.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
skill is very much required. You can go to this particular case study published by LinkedIn and review more details about it. And these jobs are still COVID-19 virus proof. So you would have seen that there have been news about layoffs, not in India, but across the globe. You have seen
true.
people are being, going out of job because of COVID-19. Companies are shrinking and they are laying off people. And I mean, that is very sad to hear and know. But again, the cyber security requirements are there. Those jobs are layoff proof, just to say. But because employees are moving, moving out of office, working from their home, that's where they require more security, right? So
Yeah,
cyber
you're right.
security professionals are required where they can assist organizations to secure their environment. So
Yeah,
these jobs are very much in demand. So this topic is about how to hack your cyber career. If you are a fresher, if you are in IT, or if you are even a non-IT person and you want to get into this cyber security, game per se, because
true.
it's a very lucrative job option. You have got multiple things to work in this domain. There are about 47 or close to 50 documented job descriptions for cybersecurity career. If you go to a
True.
NIST website, you will see that they have listed almost 50 different job titles for cybersecurity. Now, so for this particular topic, there is nobody better than Mr. Ram, who has been talking to the individuals and colleges and professionals and educating them how you can get into cybersecurity. So, welcome, Mr. Ram. Introduce yourself, and let's start from there.
Thank you, Vikas, for such a nice introduction and setting the context for this session. Indeed, cybersecurity is a very rewarding career, very intellectually challenging career. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ram Kumar. I'm working as a business information security officer at a leading automobile company, and I have about 19 years experience in this domain, 16 years in information security, business continuity, and data privacy, running the GRC programs. So I have worked in different industries. So let me just share my screen so that gives you a context. Let me know if you can see my screen, Vikas.
Yeah, it's just loading it up. So from Bangalore to Gurgaon, it takes time.
Okay.
So still not visible. Mm, Can you try to stop and reshare if possible?
Sure, I'll do that right away. Okay, you can see now.
Um, Not really. No, it's not. Yeah, yeah, I can see it now. Perfect.
You can see it now. Okay. So as I said, let me just recap. So I started my career around 19 years, 16 years in this domain, information security, business continuity, and data privacy. I specialize in setting up the security program ground up in multinationals, aligning with their global, objectives. And my specialization is into GRC. So, as with any true cybersecurity professional, learning is a way of life. So, in order to gain knowledge and validate, we always do a lot of certifications that is aligned with our goals.
Mhm.
So, I'm no exception. I picked up a few critical certifications in my journey. And also, I believe in sharing knowledge. So, last few years, I started reaching out. I have industry outreach where I talk in any conferences, industry conferences, training programs, and share my knowledge. Of late, I've been more focused in the academia. I'm orienting students. I take sessions on on cybersecurity career. So there's been a lot of interest. That's in short about me.
Wonderful, fascinating resume. I mean, you have got all the certifications that a cybersecurity professional could think of. So PMP, CISM, CRIG, CEH, so and compliance, ISO 27001. So it looks a very holistic resume. That's great. So let me ask this: did you
Sure.
start in cybersecurity itself as your career, as your initial career, or you were into something else and then moved into cybersecurity?
Yeah, it's interesting question. So I initially started in banking sector. That was before my MCA, and post my post graduation degree. My first job was with a tech company, US based ISP called Juno Online Services. They are part of United Online Group, and that's where I cut my teeth into cybersecurity.
Wonderful, wonderful. So overall, almost 19 years of experience in
True.
cybersecurity. That's
True.
fascinating. Now, you have spent long enough in cybersecurity, and if you have to tell somebody, okay, why don't you join cybersecurity? It's a great career. What would you tell that person? Why somebody should get into cybersecurity? What's the reason?
Well, the only reason is it is zero, unemployment. So anyway, that's a very, simplistic way. There are serious reasons. I'm just beaming my slide here so that people can have better context. First thing is today we are going truly digital, right? Digital transformation is happening across all industries. So every aspect of tech has got a security component to it. So that's the reason, you should seriously look at cybersecurity as a career. You have enough and more opportunities, as Vikas just now mentioned in the
Right.
introduction. The second important thing is it gives you a lot of intellectually challenging and exciting field. The field keeps, it's very dynamic. It keeps evolving with all the changes that are happening in the tech side and the regulation side, right? And that's the reason one key area you should definitely explore is cybersecurity. And
Absolutely.
third, as
Just on
Vikas
this
said, it
point,
is about, yeah,
just on the second point, so you very well, captured it. It is intellectually challenging.
true.
Being a hacker or being a cybersecurity specialist, you got to think about the problem from an offensive perspective as well, right?
Exactly.
How can you break into the organization? How do you defend that? So there are multiple hats that you have to constantly wear, right?
Yeah,
Whether it is offensive or defensive. So it itself a challenging field and pushes you to the limit. Yeah,
correct.
good point.
Correct. So that's a key thing. So if you're looking for a intellectually challenging profession, you should look up to cybersecurity. Third important thing is the opportunities. Job opportunities are huge, as you saw in the introductory slides by Vikas. We saw the demand, so I don't have to stress more on this. and hackers don't take a break. Simple, they keep us in the jobs. So attacks, cyber incidents, data breaches are all inevitable, no matter how big your brand is, how funded you are. Still, there's no guaranteeing that your infrastructure and your data would be secure, and the cost of data breach is going up year on year. So that's a very critical requirement, to protect. And data privacy and compliance regulations worldwide are getting tighter. You must be noticing how GDPR became a game changer for data privacy. And India is also waiting in the wings, and very soon, hopefully, the next few months, we'll also be having our own Personal Data Protection Act. Currently, it's in a bill form, and across the world, every major country is rolling out their own data privacy and cybersecurity regulation laws. So all of this means you need more security professionals, and most of these regulations mandate having a independent dedicated role for data protection officer or equivalent. So that's a key reason why you should take advantage of this evolving situation.
Absolutely. And looking at this, you don't have to be a techie. You don't have to have hands too technical, too big to get into cyber. Because let's talk about compliance. If you're in legal, you have never written a single program, you can still become a DPO, right?
True.
So you understand the law, you understand what regulations are coming, and you are welcome in the industry.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah,
you are a developer, right?
true.
And you have written web applications throughout your life, and now you want to get into cyber, welcome, because we need people who can secure applications,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
But
You're right.
what I've seen is that the skills are, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but the skills are very much required because positions are open. We
Yeah,
interview candidates, and even to fill one position, you interview like 50 people, and
correct.
you do not find the right skill set. So that is
Yeah,
very much required. That okay, once you are preparing, you got to understand what is required by organizations for these profiles.
true,
So
true.
coming back to that, let's say somebody is in college, right? They are in final year of their masters or PhD, whatever they are doing, and they want to get into cyber security. So what do you recommend a fresher or a person who is already in college and maybe going to come out in a year or two? How do they prepare themselves for a career in cyber security?
Yeah, it's a very valid question. There are a lot of people interested, and right at their college level, if they are looking to, definitely they should, take active interest, and they need to be curious at the start, and then start actively learning about this domain and specialize in one or two areas. That's a very simplistic way of telling. But what are the major fundamental shifts that we are seeing in today's job market, which freshers can take advantages? Your qualification is one thing, but the skill is another. So there's a shift from qualification to skills. So at a high level, you need to pick up those skills. Second, job searching to networking. So you need to network, take advantage of platforms like LinkedIn and other online sites, and start networking with peer groups, senior professionals, follow mentors, follow leaders, and understand. Third is profile building to brand building. This may be at a little head in your career, not as a fresher, but maybe a mid-career professional. And fourth is job application to job search strategy, because one size doesn't fit all. You cannot use the same CV or resume for all job applications. For every job opening, you have to customize your CV and then apply. And job changes to career planning. So it is not just you change a job, you need to be very clear where you want to end up, which industry sector, and at what level, what are the prospects. So all those research you need to do before you make a move. And importantly, at a fresher stage, it's important that you put emphasis on learning over earning, because there is so much of pressure to go for the big bucks, but that doesn't work that way in real world. So the more you learn over a period of time, then you can apply those skills, and later the money will come through. and you need to know where you stand, right? Currently, what is your skill level and where you need to go. That direction clarity will help you. And of course, you need to take risks. It's not that you specialize in one particular domain in your graduation level and you have to stick with that. Of course, you need to have some risk taking capability when you move on to cybersecurity, when you want to specialize in this domain. And finally, this particular domain is requires active learning throughout. It is not that you completed your BTech or MTech or BSc and then end of story. It's a forever upskilling. Both formal, informal learning is important throughout the career. So I
Absolutely.
just thought I will wrap up with this on this particular
That's so true.
aspect.
See, I did my Windows NT 4.0 MCSC in 1998, and
Wow.
my latest certification is like 1 month back. So you have to continuously learn. Today, earlier there was Windows 2003, 2008, 2012, and now there is AWS. Now there is, regulation. Indian Data Protection Act is coming. So you cannot sit idle. I mean, it is challenging all the time that you have to keep your skills up to the mark all the time.
Correct, correct. And Vikas, I just wanted to, share the other key areas why somebody should pick up career cybersecurity as a career. Let me just share my screen. Let me know if you can see that.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, so continuing why you should pick up this domain as a career. If you are looking for money, definitely this particular domain gives you premium package when compared to others. Not to belittle other domains, but cybersecurity is obviously at a much higher advantage.
Mhm.
And practically unlimited growth. You define what you want to be, where you want to be. You can pace your career. You have ample opportunities for scaling up faster, so that's something you can take advantage of. And variety of domains to specialize in. I think Vikas emphasized that you don't have to be a techie necessarily, so that is one aspect. Of course, the core cybersecurity is technology driven and technology based, but you have other opportunities as well. Say people from audit profession like chartered accountants seamlessly move into risk assessments. They specialize in system audits and move into. There are people who come from legal background, lawyers seamlessly moving into data privacy, and so on and so forth. Then this is one real job where you do multiple things. You can implement, you can assess, you can deliver, you can do advisory, you can oversee security projects and program for an organization. And today, it's not just organization; even countries have a very strong, robust cybersecurity program. There's no limit to the opportunities you have. And finally, the job has real impact in terms of not just protecting your IT infra, your data, your privacy, or money. Even it has impact on protecting lives. Example, your healthcare domain, the amount of R&D that goes into different applications. If applications are not securely developed and deployed, and that could be hacked. Say an application for a pacemaker or medical devices. So all of them are mind-boggling. So this job has a real impact in saving even lives. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one another interesting fact is that you can get to travel a lot because there are a lot of
Yeah.
things happening. So myself, I've been to like 44 countries thanks to my organization. It's a great place to work, and we have offices throughout the world. And due to cybersecurity projects and other things, you get to travel. So that's another additional benefit that you get for being into cybersecurity.
You can see the world if you pick up this as a profession.
Yeah.
Keep hearing a lot of opportunities are there in Europe. Europe is very much understaffed on cybersecurity. A lot of openings in Europe.
True. Now, coming back to my earlier question of freshers, what do they need to do? So, do you think they need to master operating systems, programming, applications, Linux, Unix? What do you tell those peoples? What do they need to do?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Vikas. So it's as I said earlier, they need to be very clear on where they want to be. depends a lot on their passion and interest. So these are the building blocks what I'm showing on the screen in no particular order. But of course, the passion and interest is the key. And of course, you need to have industry experience, at least as an intern or as a trainee. Then formal education, if you have opportunity to specialize in information security, cyber security, or in cloud security or related domains. Then of course, certifications you can pick up as you grow in your career. And finally, the delivery track record. So that being the building blocks, you can take a look at this particular site. It has mapped all the security roles. So you can actually look at the roles, and if you scroll over each of them, it gives you a one-liner about what each of these role is. So you can pick and choose. And I thought I will show this particular slide, which gives a big picture view of all the domains in cybersecurity. So you
Yeah.
have to make a informed decision where you want to be. You want to be in core, security architecture. It's a technical domain, right?
Right.
Then you get into risk assessment. You have vulnerability assessment, scanning, and pen test, right? Or you want to be in governance, where you do the audits, you do the legal compliance, or you
Absolutely.
write the policies, reporting, so on and so forth. Then threat intelligence, that's a big deal today. You need to know how to pick up threat intelligence from open source and proprietary inputs. Then
Right.
you have security operations, how you run
So.
your SOC using different tools, SIEM, and
Mhm.
how do you manage data protection using DLP tools, and how do you respond to incidents, because incidents today are inevitable. So do you have you have a plan for that? You have tested that. Then you have the
Right.
DR and BCP. That's again critical in the phase of a business crisis or a disruption. How do you ensure that the company delivers its obligations to customers, right? So it's a very wide domain. So you need to be very clear where you want to be. So this slide, again, one step down, it talks about different areas. We already spoke about GRC,
Mhm.
incident response. Then you have application security. How do you develop secure applications? How do you do secure deployment, right? Then operating system, database security, all of this, these are all technical domains in any of which you can actually, specialize.
Right.
And let me also, this is again one quick snapshot on different roles available
Yeah.
from core
Right.
technical to non-technical.
These
Yeah,
slides will be available for the audience, right? So they can later on go through all the details that they want.
sure, definitely. I'll share it. Cool. So this domain is very vast, and you should also take a look at this particular site. It's an interactive site. If you
Mhm.
just scroll over any of these, headings, you will get the mapping to
Yeah.
different roles at entry level, mid level, and advanced level. Yeah,
Right.
Vikas.
Perfect, perfect. And one important thing I wanted to ask is, see, your domain knowledge is required, but as you grow senior in your role, as you get to the CISO and a cyber leader position, how much business understanding is required? Because all this is technical part and compliance and all, but what is your view on understanding the business? What do you think on that?
True. It's very important that we understand the business. What are the key drivers for the business? What is the management philosophy and objectives when it comes to cybersecurity? What is the industry environment in which you are working? You need to understand the crown jewels, what we call the core information assets that you are trying to protect, and the threat environment specific to the industry, right? So each industry has its own, threat perception and threat environment. That you need to be very clear. And
Right.
also, you need to know what is your security, or rather risk appetite for your specific industry. To what extent your company is able to tolerate the risks, and what are the key touch points there, based on which your security strategy will be formed in association with all your key leaders. Yeah.
Absolutely. one last question, because we want to keep it short and not like a full 1 hour webinar. So we talked about freshers who are in the college getting into cybersecurity. But what about people who are already employed, who are in mid-career, they're associate managers, managers, 5, 6, 7, 10 years of experience in IT
Sure.
or non-IT, and they want to get into cyber? What is your recommendation for those people?
Yeah, it's a valid question. A lot of people who want to jump into this bandwagon. So, one thing, there's no fixed standard career path that anyone can prescribe, but still, if you're from the system side, network side, you can scale up easily to infrastructure security operations. So, you need to learn about your SOC technologies like SIEM,
Right.
SOAR, or get into other security tools like data leakage prevention, identity access management. So this could be a starting point, or you can get into cloud security and specialize in any of the top cloud service provider technologies, be it AWS, Microsoft, or Google, right? Then if you can also get into vulnerability scanning and pen testing, you need to gain mastery into the different tools available, and you can also explore your career as an ethical hacker. Okay, and if you are into coding, okay, if you're into development, it's relatively easy for you to move into application security and testing. This domain is called application security, so you need to try learning about secure coding, OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, secure code testing. There are a lot of tools available in the market for secure code scanning. You can specialize in one or more. If you're in auditing, you can get into system auditing, which is part of your security risk management. And each of these domains are very distinct and distinct domain, and it takes a lot of considerable time, effort, and resources to gain expertise. Now, proactively learn the domain, enroll for courses or training sessions, do self-study, be part of professional groups, network with cybersecurity professionals, join professional groups like ISACA or ISC2, okay, and attend conferences and webinars so that you are in touch with the domain. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we have been doing, right, Mr. Ram? Even in the
Yeah.
lockdown, we are like all CISOs and cyber leader for the organization. Still, during the weekends, we are learning. We are doing multiple workshops, and also learning has to continue, right? So that is very much required for this domain. So overall, great insights, Mr. Ram. Thank you very much. I think this industry is open for everyone and their grandmother. So come join us. We need more people around here, right?
Yeah, definitely. More the merrier.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot. So this recording, I'm sure, will go on website and will help a lot of people who have generic questions, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody is kind of wondering, how do we get into this cyber bandwagon? Now, this webinar will certainly help them understand step by step what is required. So thanks a lot, Mr. Ram.
Yeah.
We'll speak soon. Bye for now.
Sure. Thank you. Bye bye. See you. Stay safe.